heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? So I seen an article, man, that really stood out to me, and I'm gonna leave this in the description box, like always on my channel. You click it, read it, and come to your own surmise. And the reason it stood out to me because last night, man, I watched the Lennox Lewis Evander Holyfield, the first and second fights. Both fights, man, I thought Lewis won both of those fights, man. The first fight wasn't a draw. I have to be real about it. I think that first fight was a draw. So it was just ironic, like, damn. So the first article I see here on Boxing Scene is Lennox Lewis tabs Anthony Joshua to be undisputed champion. All right, now Lewis, 50 years old, was the last heavyweight to hold the WBC, WBA, and IBF belts at the same time before hanging up his gloves in 2004. And back then, having those three titles made you undisputed. I know now, ever since, what, 2007, I believe, that WBO, you now need that trinket to fully be undisputed. All right, so during Lennox time, he just needed those three. So he's the last, undisputed champion, Now, Tyson Fury holds the WBA and the WBO. He did have that IBF. He got stripped, so on and so forth. And we know before that, Klitschko had the WBA, the WBO, and the IBF. He did not have that WBC to make him the fully undisputed champion. So let me go ahead and just read from this, and I'm going to give my opinion about what the legend had to say. All right, now he says Joshua has come along at the right time. He plays the part and looks the part. I agree with that. Lewis told Press Association Sport. I am happy to see that he is winning and he is in position where he can change and create history. He has created history because he is a world champion. Ali Harrison was an Olympic champion, but he did not become a world champion. So he overcame that. He has got it off on his back. And the next thing he wants to get is all the belts. All right. Now, when asked if the 26-year-old Joshua, who has already knocked out Charles Martin, Dominic Brazil this year, could achieve a feat, Lewis said, it is very possible for him. He is in position to do it. He has not been rushed, and he has had 17 fights with 17 knockouts. All right. Lewis added, obviously, there are going to be guys who come along that Joshua can't knock out. And there are still a lot of unanswered questions, such as, does he have the stamina and can he take it on the chin? And I agree with Lennox, man. Like I always say, no matter how impressive guys look, whether it's your favorite middleweight or your favorite welterweight or your favorite light heavyweight, whoever it is, you're not going to knock every single body out, especially not at the top tier level. It's just not going to happen. It's just not. Two of my favorite all-time fighters were vicious knockout punchers, Mike Tyson and George Foreman. So that lets you know, although Big George and Mike damn near knocked out everybody, they didn't knock out everybody, though. Even Lennox, even as great as Lennox was, he didn't knock everybody out. Sometimes he stuck to his jab, just like the Holyfield fights. You know what I mean? And Holyfield's a tough dude to knock out regardless, and he's all-time great too. So I agree with Lennox when he said that, okay? He also adds, but we are waiting and we are watching his progression. It is good to have a buzz about him because he is the Olympic champion. That is a gold ticket into the pros, and now everyone wants to be on the wave that is flowing, and that wave is Anthony Joshua. We're going to have to wait and see where that wave ends up. Now, with that statement, I agree too. Right now, everybody wants Joshua. He is the meal ticket. He is the money man at the heavyweight division. He sold pay-per-views, damn near a million pay-per-views with Martin. I know 500,000, was it with White? One of the two, I'm probably getting it mixed up, but he has sold a lot of pay-per-views out there in the UK, man. He's putting up big numbers out there for a guy who was looked at as a prospect level heavyweight. You know what I mean? So I agree with that. And I do believe that having a gold medal, and everybody knows this, it's not like it's new news or anything, but when you get the gold medal, your transition into the pros a little bit smoother. You get those contracts, you get endorsements. If you medal at all in the Olympics, most likely, even if you get a bronze, you're going to get some type of endorsement deals. I've heard Antonio Tarver talk about his situation when he won the bronze. He said nobody believed in him, and it was rough for him. He didn't have a manager or a promoter his first few fights or something he was talking about. It was really rough for him. So, but majority of the time, if you medal in the Olympics, your transition into the pros is a little bit easier than somebody that's coming in with no Olympic medal or being an Olympian, period. All right, so now Joshua is mandated to fight New Zealand's Joseph Parker before a November deadline. Well, I thought the deadline was either before or on January. I know in November they're going to inform Joshua that he has to fight Joseph Parker. So I'm not sure what that means here on Boxing Scene. But then Lewis went on to say Joshua has signed a contract with Showtime, so they are definitely going to bring him in front of the American crowd, Lewis said. I know when David Haye went in front of American crowd, they loved him. Everywhere I went, people would say, hey, what do you think about David Haye? That British boxer is pretty good. I know that Joshua will have the same effect. And yes, and people tend to forget, man. I know they like to make fun. People like to make fun of David Haye and him blaming his toe after the Klitschko fight. But going into that fight, man, that's why I like to look at things not just in hindsight, but at the moment when they were taking place. A lot of fans thought that Haye, you know, who was a cruiserweight champion and unified and everything at cruiserweight, they thought him coming up to heavyweight, he was going to be the guy to beat Vladimir. Now, Vladimir was still the favorite, but people thought that Haye had a really good shot at beating him, thought his hand speed, thought he had the power. They didn't think Klitschko, who likes to fight straight up sometime, would be able to deal with the movement and the hand speed. And then he got in there, and a lot of people got proven wrong. You know, Klitschko dominated the fight. But I do think Joshua is going to make probably a deeper impact because of the size, being a natural heavyweight, the power, the youth. He has a chance and he has the ability. And just like Haye, who won a title off of Valuev, Joshua won his title, you know, off Martin. So they're equal right there. But I think Joshua has an opportunity to take his reign a little bit further and have a greater reign at heavyweight than David Haye. And David Haye is still fighting, man. Maybe we might see David Haye versus Joshua down the road. But I'm just getting this out there. It was ironic that Lennox Lewis is in the news, man, because I was just watching both of his fights against Holyfield last night. Just looking at some past fights. I love looking at past fights, man. But yeah, man, just getting this out there what the legend had to say about the up and coming phenom, Anthony Joshua. I'm out.